Hi, I am Pat. This is a video for you guys. We're gonna do sound in this video. This is talking about audio sources, basically how to add music to your game and how to make sound effects happen. So to start off, I have this scene that already has some stuff going on in it. I'll just start it up. We got this little guy that I totally made the art for originally, very legal. He can move around, he can jump. And then this Bitcoin, if we go and pick it up, of course, we die, which is pretty true to life, I think. So notice there is no sound in this game. It's pretty boring. I mean, in addition to the boring design, there's no sound. So we're going to try to make it a little more exciting. So first of all, I already have some audio files that I want to use. So I'm going to go to the desktop. I have these two sounds. I'm going to create a folder in my assets folder. I'm going to call it sounds. You guys might be required to call your folder something in the project, but I'm just going to call this one sounds. And I'm just going to click and drag both of these right over. And now they are part of our project. So you can drag in, I believe, MP3s and WAV files. I'm sure there are other formats that are accepted. I just know for sure that those two are. So let's see. So we have these two audio files. One, which is our exclamation, which is going to be like a sound effect we're going to use. And another one that's this sort of church music that we're going to use as music. So first of all, if we just want to have music that plays in the scene at all times, I'm just going to create an empty game object on the hierarchy. I'm going to call this, let's say, music source. Probably a better name for it, but let's just call that. And then we want to add an audio source. So we can just go add component audio source. And then right here where it says audio clip, we just want to click and drag the music that we want to play throughout the scene. We're going to click and drag this church loop that I have. And then right around here, we have all these options for how this audio is going to be played. So play on awake is checked by default. That means that right whenever the scene starts and this game object is awake, it's going to play that audio. So we're going to want that because we want this music to play sort of, at all times, basically. And then we're also going to check this box for loop. So what that'll do is it'll make the music, whenever it gets to the end of that audio file, it'll just start right back at the beginning again. You'll also notice that here in the scene view, we have this empty game object that we had added before. We have this little sound icon. So this is actually the place in the scene where the audio is being played from. And the reason this is important is because if we look at our main camera, we have this audio listener. So basically, the audio listener are like your ears in the scene. That's what the perspective where the player is going to hear from. So this is how in 3D games this is especially important because we'll have this like 3D audio. You can hear like footsteps behind you, and that'll actually be realized in the scene just by placing an audio source at one location and an audio listener at the player. So anyway, so this now, if we press play, should play that audio. It should play it right when it starts, and it should loop. So let's see. I don't remember. I cannot hear it. I guess. Okay, just had to cut because I was confused. Why my audio wasn't playing? I had all of this audio source set up correctly. I had play on awake set up correctly. It's looping, and the reason that it didn't play is because right here in the game window I have mute audio checked, which is by default checked. So make sure that while you're testing your audio sources that you have this button unchecked. Okay, so now if we go and play, we are going to hear just this terrible music that I have set up. It fits the mood of the game, I think, in a lot of ways. Yeah, that's really sad. Okay, so now we have music. We have music that plays at all times and it loops right from the beginning. So now I think what else this game needs is we want to have audio that gives the player some feedback on stuff. So in this case, I think that when the player dies, being when they hit this Bitcoin here, we should have some audio effects of the player, being like oof, basically. I don't have an oof sound effect, so instead I have this exclamation sound effect. So we're gonna make it so whenever this player hits this coin, it's gonna play this audio. So there's a couple things we're gonna need to do to make that happen. First, we're gonna want to go to the player and actually add an audio source to the player themselves. Then I'm going to go ahead and look at this audio clip. I'm going to click and drag our exclamation right to that audio clip. And I'm going to make sure I uncheck play on awake. So now, if we start, I'm going to go ahead and disable this so we don't have to listen to that music for a little bit. We'll notice that the sound of the exclamation is not happening. So we've added an audio source. We've set up that file, but we're not playing on awake. So now we're going to want to actually go into the script here. So I'm going to go into the script for that player. This is the player controller. We don't need to care about all of that other stuff that I wrote to make him move. We're just going to look right here. So this is where I actually have that check for collision with the coin, and it's going to make that player die. So right here, we need to make that audio file play. So what we're going to do is we're going to say GameObject.getComponent audio source dot play. And because we don't have loop checked, this will just make it play once, and then it's over. So we have that. Let's head back to our editor. I have this set up. Now we should have a finished game. That's poetry.